Hi everyone, welcome. I'm Haruyo and I'm so happy to see you all here today. I've been counting the days to this class because today's topic is one of my absolute favorites, how the brain really buys. Now, don't worry, this isn't a neuroscience lecture. We're going to take a peek inside what really happens when someone says, I'll take it, and discover how we can use that knowledge to connect with customers in more meaningful ways. But before we dive in, let's warm up the chat. Tell me, what is the last thing you bought on impulse? And why do you think you bought it? Mine was a candle that said, smells like hot cocoa weather. I hadn't even had time to smell it when my brain said, Haruyo, you need that comfort in your life. So, hi everyone. Hi Keisha. Hello Pam. Hello Crystal. Okay, Crystal bought a vest and she just wanted to look good. That's a pretty good reason, I think. Lip liner that peels off. A necklace because it was free shipping. Hello Patty from Colorado. Pants for fall. Hello, hello. Oh my God, all of these are good reasons. It sounds like we're all good shoppers, right? The one you think? So, see how fast that happens. Our emotions make the decision first, and then our logic jumps in to justify it later. Pretty amazing, right? And that's exactly what today's session is about, understanding those little brain whispers that turn into a yes. So let's dive in and see what's really going on inside your customers' minds when they decide to buy. The brain has three main parts that team up every time we decide to make a purchase. Let's take a peek at what's happening inside of our customers' brains when they shop. First up is the reptilian brain. This is the survival part of the brain. Back in the day, it helped us decide whether to fight or run away. And today, well, it's the part that decides whether or not we're going to click the add to cart button. Then comes the limbic system, the emotional part. This is where we feel love, joy, trust, all of those warm, fuzzy feelings that make us say, oh, I need this. And finally, the neocortex, the logical part. This part of your brain justifies decisions after they are made. It's the voice that says, well, it was on sale, and I do deserve a little treat. So here's the surprising part. About 95% of buying decisions happen subconsciously. So your customers' emotions decide first, and logic just follows along to make you feel smart. This idea comes from neuroscientist Paul MacLean, triune brain theory, describing how our instinct, emotion, and logic work together when we make decisions. Let's see this idea in action. I want to test your brain for a second. Imagine you see two makeup products on the screen. One looks elegant and says luxe, and the other one is simple and says budget. Which one catches your attention first? Don't think too much. Just say it and type it in the chat. I see luxe, budget, luxe, luxe again, luxe again. Laura says budget, more luxe, budget, budget, and luxe. Wow. All right. Well, I had a feeling that most of us are going to say luxe, right? And that's your emotional brain talking. It reacts to how something looks and feels before your logical brain even joins the conversation. All right. Now that we have met our three brains, let's figure out how to talk to them when we sell. I call these the 5 secrets of the buying brain. And once you know them, you'll never look at selling the same way again. Now, when we feel, we buy, and it's true. Our emotional brain, the limbic system, is the one in charge. So instead of focusing on ingredients, focus on the feeling. Like this, instead of hearing this serum has hyaluronic acid, what if you heard this serum gives your skin that fresh, dewy glow, the kind that makes you want to skip foundation and just smile at yourself in the mirror? See the difference? One speaks to the mind and the other one speaks straight to the heart. Now it's your turn. What's one product you love to talk about and what emotion does it give you? Type it in the chat. And I'll go first. For me, it's the retinol body oil. It's not just about softness, it's that spot moment at home after a long day. Now let's see. Let me see. Sue loves jewelry and it makes her feel like a queen at work. I'm with you, Sue. Let's see. Cowboy perfume, live out loud. Yeah. Patty loves all the put together feeling she gets every time she uses our Glimmer nail lacquer. Crystal says moisture therapy products, and that's especially with the winter coming. The FMG cashmere makes you feel younger. Yes, Nicole. Lovely jewelry, polish, nail polish. Well, see, so emotions hook our attention. But do you know what keeps it? Stories. Let's move to secret number 2. Here's something really fascinating. Neuroscientists discovered that when we remember stories, we do so up to 22 times better than facts. And that's from research by cognitive psychologist Jerome Bruner. So instead of just listing product details, try telling a little story. For example, you could say something like, hey, I had a customer who used this eye cream after a few sleepless nights with her baby, and she told me it made her look rested again. Now, see how that lands differently? Stories connect in a way that facts just can't. Facts inform, but stories transform. They connect straight to the emotional part of the brain, the one that decides to buy. Now, stories activate trust, and that leads us to something our brains love. Imitation. Let's talk about social proof. Our brains are amazing, right? When we see someone enjoying something, we actually start to feel a bit of that joy ourselves. And that's why things like happy faces, short testimonials, or quick demo videos work so well. We're social by nature. We like what others love. And let's be honest, how many of you have bought something just because a friend said it was amazing? I'm guilty too. My best friend swore by a mascara and I bought it before she even finished her sentence. So we've got emotion, story, social proof, but there's one more powerful trigger, and that's the fear of missing out. Our brains hate missing out. When we hear something like limited edition or only 2 left, the reptilian brain hits panic mode. And that's why a simple phrase like available this week only can motivate action. It tells the brain to move now. Ever had that moment when a product you love suddenly sells out and somehow you want it even more? Yep, that's the scarcity effect in action. Finally, let's talk about the senses because the brain doesn't just think, it feels. Smell, touch, color, they all influence how we react. When you describe a product by saying, it smells like a lavender garden after the rain, your audience can almost feel it. Now, let's do a quick chat check. What's one Avon product that smells or feels unforgettable to you? Type it in the chat. For me, it's the Calming Lavender Body Lotion. It's comfort in a bottle, like a soft hug right before bedtime. Let's see, the Match Primer, the Organist Algae, Pink Sapphire. Wow, Faraway Morocco, the original, it's going too fast. Skin So Soft Radiant Shower Gel, Sweet Honesty, Beyond Glow. Oh my God, that has plenty of examples. So now that we know what makes the brain buy, but not all the brains are the same, right? So let's talk about how age and culture can influence those buying triggers. Here's where it gets interesting. Different generations and cultures buy in different ways. Gen Z and millennials love authenticity, social proof, and experiences. They are drawn to real stories, real people, and products that feel personal. Boomers and Gen Xers, on the other hand, value trust and proven results. They want to know if a product really works and that it's backed by experience and not just trends. And of course, culture plays a big role too. For example, color red can mean good luck and prosperity in many parts of Asia, but in the US, it can mean warning or stop. So, what triggers a positive reaction in one place might do the opposite somewhere else. Pretty fascinating, right? Well, I'd like to challenge you to think about what brain trigger works best for your customers. Is it emotions, stories, social proof, scarcity, or sensory? Share in the chat. Here's an example. My younger family members love stories and reels, while my older ones appreciate the before and after results. Both brains buy, but they do so in different ways. Crystal says scarcity goes all the way as long as goes out of the way when stock is so fast. Wendy says her personal testimonials. And Kathy says stories about her hair. Stories, testimonials. Wow, my personal accounts. Yeah. Tanya says it's all about social media for her customers. And Rhonda's customers react quickly to limited time offers. That's great. Okay, well, let's talk about feelings because as you know, we buy with emotion and justify with logic. Think about it. When you fall in love with a product, your brain doesn't say, oh, I must analyze the ingredient list. Nope. It says, ooh, that feels amazing. And then your logical brain jumps in to say later on, well, it was on sale. So, what does that mean for us ambassadors? It means when you are sharing a product, lead with emotion first. Tell a story. Describe how it makes you feel. Instead of saying, this lipstick is long lasting and matte, you can say, this lipstick makes me feel unstoppable. That's what triggers the emotional brain. The logical brain will come in later to justify it. All right, so we talked about emotion. Now let's talk about how our brains connect emotion with memory, because that's where product loyalty comes from. Now here's a fun fact. Our brains love to repeat what feels good. When a product or a brand gives you a positive emotion, their brain releases dopamine. That's the happy chemical that says, yes, let's do that again. And that's why little touches like a handwritten thank you note or a text message can create what we call memory anchors. Those are the moments that stick with people. Think of one product you bought just because it made you feel good. Maybe it smelled amazing or the packaging made you smile. For me, it's a Melting Balm cleanser with mango butter. Every time I use it, I feel clean, happy, and just very satisfied. And yes, I will keep going back for more. So here's a takeaway. When you're thinking about how your customers, ask yourself, how can I create a memory moment for them? Because when you do, the brain remembers and it wants to repeat that wonderful feeling again and again. All right, we've talked about how the brain reacts, feels, and remembers. Now let's take it a step further. How can we use this knowledge in real life when we're connecting with our customers? Here's a quick 3 brain smart strategies you can use, and you can start using them just right away. Number 1 is lead with emotion. Start conversations with feelings, not facts. Instead of this fragrance lasts 8 hours, say this scent makes me feel confident and powerful all day. People connect with how it feels and not so much with the science behind it. Number 2 is use social proof. Remember, our brains love shortcuts. So when customers see others loving a product, they think, hey, if it worked for them, it'll work for me too. So share testimonials, reviews, or even a quick personal story. Number 3, create micro moments. A small surprise like a follow-up message creates emotional memory anchors. The customer's brains literally associate your brand with feeling good. Now tell me, which one of these 3 are you already doing, or which one would you like to try next week? Number 1, number 2, or number 3? All right, we've unlocked the secrets of the buying brain, so we've got strategies to match. Let's recap everything you learned because your brain just took in a lot of juicy info. Remember, people buy with their hearts first, head second. Emotion leads, logic follows. Positive emotions create lasting memories and repeat sales. And the key to success, don't just sell, connect. So next time you're sharing a product, remember this. You're not just selling skincare, fragrance, or makeup. You're helping someone feel confident, beautiful, and seen. A little brain science can totally transform how we connect with people. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you leave with fresh ideas, new curiosity, and maybe a tiny spark to try something different this week. See you next time, everyone, and thank you.